Welcome to MacroCode. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with our electronics documents management system. So if you're watching this particular video for the first time and you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So for those who are new to this channel, we've been doing an electronics documents management system. And as you can see here, we actually have one of our dashboards. So we have the dashboard here, and here we are using high charts. So this data, we've not populated the data from the system, and we'll be doing the same. So if you go to file request, so here we are doing file request. So users should be able to request a file, and you can see you have a new button here. So I'll just do new. Then you select department. You say this is information technology. You do a file extension. Let's say PDF. Then file name, say source code manual, when it was requested, request due date. Then we say this is the document I need work. So once you do that, then you click add a request. So a new document will be created. That is, a new document request will be created, and you can be able to proceed and approve. So you can see here we have various statuses. We have the approved status, we have the rejected status, we also have pending approval. So if you see on the buttons here, we have edit. So you can edit the record and you can click view. So when you click view, you're able to see the file request details. So these are some of the details that we have. So let me try to zoom. Yes, there we go. So these are the file name. We have the department, we have the requester, we have the status, the comment, the document file extension, when it was created, and who created that particular record. Then you have the approval details and also the rejection details. So for this case, this record was approved, and I think we also added approval comments. So if you're watching our video for the first time and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So if you go to our file request, you realize that we have some records here which has not been approved. So if I click, I should be able to see two buttons. That is approve and reject. So if I say approve, then I'm able to get this particular window. Then you can see approval details here. It's still null because it has not been approved. And here we have rejection details. Our status is still awaiting approval. So here I'll just provide comments. I say this is okay. Proceed to issue the document. Then I'll just say approve file. Then you can see our file has been approved. And here, if I just go down here and say view details, so you can see I'm able to see the approver. So this is the person who is logged in, and I'm using, you can see my email address here. Then we have the timestamp and the comments that we just provided. So this is part of the details. Now, those are the file requests. So if you do another file request, every time you create a new request here, then we'll be having that particular record pending approval. So if I just do here and I say I need this document, then I click add. So you can see here it's pending approval. It has to be approved. So, and you can see our status here. This is our status. It's showing pending approval, and we can be able to approve. So if you come also here, we realize that on our buttons here, we have three buttons. We have the edit, we have the view, we also have approve, and we have rejected. So it depends on the action. So if I just click reject, so you can see here rejected, I have my rejection comments. So I'll just come here and say this is not okay. Then I just say here reject. So once it's rejected, then the status will change and the buttons now will be, so you can see here we have two things, and this is actually wrong. So we should not be having this button whenever a record has been approved or rejected. So let's change that. So if we go to our code, let's go to our code and index, that is the file request. Then you can see this is our status. So I'll also go to our database. So this is our SQL Server. Then we have our statements here. So our system code options here. So if you're watching our video until this particular point and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So I'll show you the statuses that we are using. We have actually stored it in our system code details. So I'll say this is I'll do here star. So where is it? Okay. So star, then I'll say here where system code ID equals to 1004. So if I do that, you can see this is actually our statuses. So I'll just show you. You can see here we have our statuses here, and these are the statuses that we are going to use. So we have the pending, we have the approved, we have the rejected, and we also have the cancelled. Now we need the edit buttons when the statuses is edit, that is pending. So if I just go, I'll copy this, and if we go to the, you can see here we have our edit status. So this pending, I should actually remove it here, and I can have it here. So then I can have it here. So you can see on our code now, when the status is pending, we'll be having the edit button, we'll be having the approve and rejected. But all the cases, then we'll be having the view button. So if I just update our app, let's just see how it looks like. So I'll go back here, and this is how it looks like. So here you can see for records that are still approved, we'll only be having the view button. So the edit, approve, and rejected buttons have disappeared. If I click view, then I'm able to see the details. If I go back to our file request and I say view on the rejected, then you can see here the details. Now let's go to active documents. So these are documents in the system that it should actually be reviewed and approved. Now, if I click add new, so here we are creating a new document to our repository. So I'll say our first document is, we can say here user electronic documents management system guide. So these are documents. Then we want to have it in a certain folder. So I'll say this is can say here. Then you can say this is a training manual. Then our file extension, you're assuming this is PNG. Then it's for this department. Retention period, you can say this is the retention period, 60 days. Action, you say this is if that period lapses, then this can be deleted. Then you can select the file. So I'll pick one of the thumbnails here. Then I'll say this is a good document. Then if I say add, then all the documents that we are adding, they actually here they actually have a status called draft. So you can see here we have this status. So our status is draft. So let me zoom in. You can see these are all statuses. So these are all statuses for the document. But now we'll be changing this to ensure that every document that is created in the system has to be reviewed. And once it's reviewed, then you're able to do that. So if we go to details, we realize that on the details page, here we have a document, we have the document version, and our document numbers is actually auto-generated. So we have the file name, this is the name, this is the document number, we have the document name, we have the description, we have the folder, status of the file, we have the storage where the document has been stored, and we have the invoice. So this is where the document has been stored. We have the department name, then we have the retention. So I think here department name, I think we've saved something wrong. So if we go to documents and go to details, let's check what is that. Department name. I think that could be the name that we chose, so it's okay. Then we have, so if we go to a different document, so you'll realize there are certain documents that have more than one. So you can see this one, we don't have any details. Let's see. I just want to see that those ones with more than more than one version. We'll just get it here right now. I think those are the latest one. We actually need the latest one, like this one. We don't have any version yet, like this one. So as you can see here, we have the first document that was uploaded. So we have different versions of the document. So you can see we have the current version is version 3, but we have version 1, 2, and 3. So the latest version is the one that is the current version. Then we have all these other details here. So that is it. Then we have our clients. So these are generally clients, so you can save the details. Then we have our folders. So on our folders, the way we are saving our folders, you can see you have the folder code, the folder name, the parent folder, created on and created by. So if you view any of the parent folders, so you can see here, this is the folder structure. And for each folder structure, we are able to have this arrow here. So we can have subfolders within a folder or within a parent folder. So if I just click here, you will realize that I have now my folder structure. I have kind of a tree. So this is the parent folder, this is the subfolder, and this is also a subfolder. So we can have many subfolders within our parent folder. So that is it. So if I also go to system security, we have our audit trails. So everything that you are doing in our application, we have the full name, you have the whether the record was added. We have some modification. Let me see if we have any of them. You can see here, we have modified by, and also we have, I don't think we have deletion. Then you have our users, so you can create users in the app. These are the users. We also have the roles, so these are system roles. And also we have the user permissions, so you can assign permissions to roles. So you can see here, then we have our system profile. These are more of modules and sub-modules. We'll be using it to control the access. Then under system administration, we have department, countries, system code details, and settings. Now, that's generally a quick overview of our app. So yesterday we were able to go through the approval process of the file request, and we were able to approve some records, as you can see here. So also on the documents, you can see on the documents we have the status, and the status looks a bit weird. So you can see here, so you can align it to look as the file request. So I'll go to documents, then I want our status. Where is it? I want this status to be the last thing here. We can even, yeah, I think we can have it as the last thing. Then I'll just copy this. We can have it here. Now, there is one thing that I want us to do. So let's check on the statuses of documents. So that is document status. So we have here document status, which is ID 5. So if we go back here and we say 5, so we should have various statuses that we need. So you can see here, the first time you save a document, it's draft. Then we have pending, review, approved, rejected, in progress, submitted, active, archived, and deleted. Now, because a document is draft, then I think once we create a document, I think we should be sending it to pending review. Then once it's approved, we do approved. So for this case, I want us to do one thing. I want us to go to our statuses here. Then we can borrow what we had done on file request. So you can see this one. I'll just copy this. So these are color codes for the statuses. So for each status, You can have various color codes. So I'll just go here and I can paste it here. Then it is the same case. We have the status, then the description. Then here we have the item.status.code. Now for approved, let's see status. Approved. I think we need to change this to capital. So I usually like the status to be capital. So I can say this is update. So let me zoom. Update system codes set code. Set code to be. You can say this is approved. So I usually like this to be in caps, where ID equals to 25. So you can do the same thing for which one? Active. Active, I think it's in caps. Archived. Archived is 30. Then yes, I usually like the codes to be capital. So I'll update this. And if we just go back, then we should be able to have our statuses. As you can see, they are all in caps. Now for approved, that's fine. Our status here is approved. So if it's approved, then the status will be green. Then a rejected, I think we have rejected, but pending, we have this as pending review. I'll just say this is pending review. Then rejected, we have a status called rejected, which is here. So I'll just update it here. Then you also have which other one? Let's just go back. In progress, we have deleted. So for deleted, we can have these two status sharing the same code. So I can say or item.status, you can do here deleted. Then anything else we can have secondary. So let me just format our app. Then if I update this, then our statuses, you can see the draft status is showing something different. Now so here, as you can see, we have draft status. So we have now the colors. So I want us to do also a view. So here on the view, I want us to have here the buttons for approval. But now I want us to have actions here. So remember we had done something on our file request, and you should be able to do the same on the documents. So what we need to do is we need to change here, instead of these buttons, I want us to have here actions. Then we can remove these particular actions here. We just have one action. Then we'll be doing a menu, a drop down menu. So we can borrow some styles from file request here. Then this is what we had done. You can see here. So I'll just copy this table. And if you go to documents, so I'll remove this, and this is what I have. So you can see this is my code. So I'll be having a drop down actions where we can have the view. I have the edit. I have approve and reject. And I can also have another button for archive. So we are not going to delete documents. We are going to have archive. And here I can say BI. Then you can say here archive. Do you have something like that? Let me see. Let me stop our app. So if you're watching our video until this particular point and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So I'll do here BI. Then archive. Yes, we have archive. Then pending, this we don't have pending. We'll be having, you can have draft, or you can do a draft or pending. So I'll do here pending as well. So I'll do here pending. Then that's fine. So what I want us to do now is let's relaunch our app and see how that looks like. So if you're watching our video until this particular point and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and also comment down below. So you can tell us where you are watching from. And we'll really appreciate. So that is great. So here we have our app. So if we go to active documents, we have these actions. So you can see we now have these actions. So I'll zoom it. So as you can see, we have the edit, we have the view, approve, reject, and archive. So we need to have these actions now in our app so that whenever you click view, you're able to view, edit, you can edit. So let's just, let's see. If I click view, it will take us to the main page. You can see this is the page where you can view the version of the document, and also you have the document number. So every document is assigned a unique series, so you can see here, which is actually automatic. Then we have, if you go back, we have edit. You can edit a document, so you can see this is our document. And every time you edit, it actually gives it a version. So let me just update. So let's do the same thing. Let's also update. So every time I do an update, it gives it a version. So if I just go and view, you can see I now have 3 versions, 1, 2, 3. And here I still have some download buttons. So if I still go back and do another edit, it will give us version 4. So we just do here edit, update, then I click here view. So you can see we now have version 4 of our document. So we have, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are the files. Every time we are updating, we are giving it a unique document. Even if you give it the same document number or document name, the system does not store the file names. So you can see here it is giving a timestamp of the file. So at no point will you have the same file sharing the same name. You also have the file types and also the person who uploaded. So someone who updated the file can also be tracked. So that is it. So another thing that I want us to do, every time we upload or approve a document, here you can see here we have approve. So if we click here, it will give us an error because we don't have that page. So let's just go and create another page. So here I'll say eraser, then I add new, then I can say here approve document. So if you have any feature that you want to see on this particular application, please consider sharing the comment down below, and we'll be adding some of those feedback. So I'll just copy the details page. We'll have it here, and you can say approve documents. Then, as you can see, this will be the details page. But now we need to have these action on our documents. So I'll just go to documents, and then for the details, it is actually using the same details action. So you can see this is the details action, and this is actually http get. So I'll copy this and paste it down here. Then I'll use it as a approved document, and which is also an http get. So if I just now go to our index, so for approve action, this one, I'll do the same thing. I'll say approve document. You can also have reject. So I'll copy the same thing, and I can say here reject. I'll say reject document, reject document. Then I'll also have my eraser. I'll copy this and have it here. So then at the top, I'll rename this as reject. I'll say this is reject. So I'm actually using the details page, so don't worry. Then I'll copy the same thing, go to our documents. Then I'll use the same action method. So I'll paste this here and I'll come here and say reject document. Then here on our index, then on reject, I'll have this as reject document. Now let's proceed and launch our app and see how that looks like. So if you're watching our video until this particular point and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and tell us where you are watching from. So subscribe if you have not subscribed. So there we go. So our app has launched. So what I want us to do now, I want us to go to documents, active documents, and then here, if you come here, you see we have approve. You can see it is now taking us to approve document, and we have these actions here. Every time a document is altered, then it has to be approved. So we can borrow some styles from file request. So I'll just go to file request, approve. Then we need to have these buttons. You see this button here. We need to have a section to approve to provide comments and approve. I'll go to approve document. Then just below this particular card, I'll add our section here. And remember, we need to have the approval comments. So I don't know if we have the approval comments on this model. So under documents, you can see we don't have that option. So I'll need to add that here. So here we'll be adding 2 comments. I'll just say here approval comments. Let me zoom. I'll do approval comments, and we can also say here, I say this is a rejection comments, and I'll also change this to rejection comments, and these are nullable. So I'll just do here that way. So we need to add these 2 to our table. So I'll do NuGet package manager console. I'll do here that. Then I can say add migration. I'll say approval feedback. Or approval comments. Document approval comments. I'll say here document approval comments. So if I add migration, then our migration file will be generated. So if you're watching our video for the first time and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So what I want us to do also is so you can see here we have our migration file. So I want us to update our database. I'll say update database. So that will have our 2 columns reflecting in our table. That is the documents table. So as you can see, there we go. That is being updated. So if you go to the database and you check on the documents table, we'll be having 2 columns for approvals. So we have the approval and rejected columns. So this is the column for approval, and also you have the rejected columns. And you can see they are all nullable because you already have some data. So the next thing that we need to do is if we go to approval documents section, we now have you see this approval comments, and here you can say approve document. Now that's one thing. So then for status, we need to check 2 statuses. So we need to check where was our statuses. We need to check the draft and pending review. So the first one is pending review, and then we can also say here, or if we are using 2 statuses, so we say here a status can be in draft, so that can be approved. Now, the same case we have done here, we also need to do on the reject. So we are doing the same case here. We'll have it down here. But now here we'll be doing rejection comments, and this is also rejection comments. Then you can say this is X and this is danger. So this is rejection, and you can say reject document. So there's one thing I think we missed on our document. We missed to inherit something else. So here you see our user activity. We have this created on, created by, and also modified on and modified by. But you also have approval activity. You have approved on, approved by, rejection on, and rejected by. So what we need to do, we need to allow our model to have approver by, approver activity. So that will introduce the approved by, created by, rejected by. So we can add that migration. So I'll say here add migration. Then you can say approval activity. So this will be document approval activity. So press enter. So our migration file should be generated with now the approval activities. So if you're watching our video until this particular point and you haven't subscribe, share the video, comment down below. And in case you want to buy us coffee, you can also buy us coffee using the link down below. So this is our migration file, and you can see it as these updates. So I'll just come here and say update database. So that will update the database, and it will add now additional columns on our document that is for approvals. So you can see here we have the additional columns. So let's wait for it to run. So you can see everything is done. Then if we go and refresh our document section, then we'll be able to have some additional columns. So you can see here we have some additional columns. We have the approval column, comments, rejection comments, approved by, rejected on, approved on, rejected by, rejected ID. I don't know what is this case. We need to check that. I don't think we need that particular ID there. So, and I think it's part of what we have on our approval activity. It's going to affect some of the processes that we've done. So let's just go to document, then our document model. So approval, I think it's part of the rejected by. Oh, I think it's okay. Yeah, this is wrong. It should be actually rejected by ID. That's why you see here it says rejected by ID, but this one is wrong. So so let's leave it. We'll be able to, or let's change it. So this should be rejected by ID, and I believe this will give us some errors. So let's rebuild it and see. So if you're watching our video until this particular point and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So you can see we have the rejected ID. It's now giving us an error. So this should be rejected by ID. This is also rejected by. So let's correct this particular issue. We don't go with it far, then it will affect what we are doing. So I'll just update that. Then I'll also, I think that's, so let's rebuild again, and we should be good to go. So yeah, we have some few errors. We have an error. Let's clean and then rebuild. So I'll just clean and then I can rebuild here. I have one error, I think so, and I can't see it. If we go to approve, I'll do here. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. So this should be rejected by ID. Now, if we go and rebuild, then we should be able to have that done. So if you're watching our video until this particular point, or you're new to macro code, join the community. Just subscribe, like the video, and also comment down below in case you have any comments, and we'll take it positively. So here, if I just come here, we can now add migration. Then you can say approval activity updates, then press enter. Then it will generate our migration file. So there we go, we have this. So you can see there are some columns that are being dropped, and I think we are good. Now if I do here update database, I'll do update database. So it's only affecting two tables, that is the file request and the documents table. So I think we are good. We had not done much on that side. So you can see that's fine. So if you go to our database now, we should not be having a column that we don't need. So if here, you can see here we now have these three tables, columns I mean. We have the approval comments, rejection comment, approved by, approved on, rejected by, and rejected on. So that's fine. Now, I want us to go to our documents. So on approved by, we can have here approved, you can see this approved document. Then here we can try to have another. So let's just check what we had done on the file request. So you can see here we have approved file. So you can use this same code here. So if we go to documents and approve documents, so this is a post method. So I'll just paste it here. So you can see we can have this is a approved document, and we can say this approved document is actually post. Then we get the user who is logged in. Then here we can say document. We are getting that particular document that is being approved by the ID, which is the, here we should be using document model. Then once we have the ID, then here we can say file. So let's just use file. You say if file is not null, if we do that, approved by, we assign the user ID. Approved on, we also assign the timestamp. Then approval comments, we provide that. Then the approval status, you remember we have our statuses. So let's go to our statuses. On our statuses, we have, where is it? Let me just close this. I'll try to close. Yeah, we have this one. So this is our statuses. We have the approved. And one thing that we need to know is the parent status is actually document status. So if we go here, we should replace this to document status, and the main status is approved. So where is it? Approved here. So I'll just do this approved. So then our approval status, we should assign the status ID to file and say this approval status. Then we should update our file and we say document details approved successfully, or we say here document details could not be found. So we remove this, could not be found. Then we return that to index. Not even index, we can return this to view. You can say here return, say to view, and we can have our model. So this is how our post method looks like. Then if we go to our Razor page, then we need to update this to approve. So let's see if we can approve one of the documents. So let's launch our app. So if you're new to this channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So let's just proceed here. Then here I can say, where is it? Under the active documents. Then here I'll do approve. So you can see, I'm able to see now we have our document, and here we have these particular details. So you can see the document details here. Then you have the created one, you have the current version, and then you have the version history. So you can see these are the version histories. Then down here we have an approval comments. So I believe you are watching this particular video until this particular point and you're interested on how this application is going. So if you like it, subscribe, join the community, and also share the video, recommend to others, like the video so that you're able to reach more audience. So here, if I say this is okay, I want us to put a breakpoint to our documents controller. Where is it? Documents, then here. So if I go back and I say approve, so you can see this is our model, and we have our comments here. So if I try to zoom in, so you can see this is our model, and we have our comment. So this is our comment. We have it as this is okay, and it's actually an approval comment. So this is the comment that is now going to be saved. So if I proceed, let me just go there. So you can see our approval status has been found, and it's actually approved. So if we proceed this now, if I proceed, you can see this is telling us we have something wrong there. So what I want us to do, instead of going back to, I want to change something here. Here, if it's approved, I want us to return redirection to action, and I want us to go to index. So when that is approved, but if there is not, if it's not approved successfully, then we just retain it on our current page. So let's do the same thing. So let's relaunch again and see. So let's wait for our app to launch. So there we go. So if I go to documents, you realize that we have one status that is approved. So you can see this is approved, and that it's actually what we have been doing. So I'll also try another one. I say here approve, and I do here this document is okay for use. So if I say that and I say approve, you can see my document is now approved and I am here. Then I also have, there's also one thing that I want us to check for documents. When we retrieve it, I want us to ensure that we retrieve even the version and the statuses. You see this? So that's why we were getting that particular error. So I just want to do this. So I'll include it, and here I'll do where x.id equals to that. Then here I'll do dot first or default. I'll do that. Now then I can also do this as this is fine. I think this is okay. This one I'll come here and paste it on approved documents. It's fine. So this is fine. So I think let's try to do one thing also. Let's try to approve one document and see how that turns up. So we noticed 90% of you guys are watching our videos and you haven't subscribed. So if you're one of them, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So let's just go to our app. We'll just go to documents, and on our documents we can go to this then you can approve one. Let's just go to that. I'll do here approve, and I can say this is okay. This is okay. Then I'll say approve. You can see our document is approved successfully. Now there is another thing that we need to do. We need also to do a rejection. So I'll copy this approved post, and I'll go here to our reject document. So I'll paste this action here. Then I'll just rename this to reject documents. Then I'll do the same thing, but here I'll be doing now rejection comments, and these will be rejection comments. Then on the status that we are assigning our app is actually as a rejected status. You see this? I'll assign this status. Then approval status, we'll call this rejected status, and I'll assign it here. And you can say document details rejected successfully, and that's fine. Then here we have details could not be found. That's okay. Now this reject document, we should go to our razor page here, and we should do this reject document, and this is circle, this is danger, and that's fine. So also if we go to documents here, yeah, I think it's fine. So let's relaunch our app and see. I'll just relaunch this and see how that looks like. So if you're watching our video until this particular point and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So here I'll go to documents. Then I can say here, so there's one thing that you should notice. On our statuses, for every record that has been approved, so let me zoom in. For every record that has been approved, it has only the view status. And if we go to view, you can't do anything about that particular document. So you can see here we have the details, we have the versions, and this is the version history. But now for a document that is in draft or pending review, if I come here, I should be able to see various actions. So you can see here, I can say here, I can say this is approved, and then I can provide the approval comments. But also I can say, if I come back here, I can also do reject. So I think we've done approve. Let's do reject. So I'll click here reject, and you can see here we have the document details. Then here we have the version history. This is the details, and then here I can do a reject. So if I say here this document needs to be updated, so that document has been rejected, and you can see this is the documents that we have. So if I click, if we go to the actions, so let me just go to documents. So where is it? Documents. Then here you can say on post, put a breakpoint there. Then I say reject. You can see we have our file. So this is the file. Then if I go to this step here, we can see we have our rejected status. So the document is being assigned a rejected status. We have the account and all these other details. So if I proceed, our document will be rejected, and you should be seeing now a rejected status, which is different from the other statuses. So that's a simple process on how you can do that. So I'll also reject another one. So let me reject this. I say here, please update these documents. Then I say reject. I'll remove the breakpoint. There we go. Let's reject again. it is approved, rejected because it's not okay. Then I say here rejected. You can see we have now our documents that are being rejected. Now there is one thing that I want us to do. If you go to file request and you do new, you realize that we have here the department, we have the file, and we also have the document. So this we can call this document name. So let's go to, we can call it file name. It's okay. But here I want us to ensure that we pull documents that are approved, so that no one should be able to see a document that has been rejected, or it's not a good document, whether a document has been archived, not to be accessed. So if a document has been approved here, so this means document is active and it can be accessed. Now let's go to file request. So if you go to file request, I want to copy something here. I want to copy this. So if you go to file request, I want us to ensure that whenever we are doing, whenever you are creating a file, you see this file extension, and we have here documents. You see these are documents here. So it gives us a list of all documents that we have in the system. But we should ensure that we only have documents that are approved. And here we can do here async task. Then I can say action result, create. Then here I'll say dot where I'll do X. Actually here we can, I don't know if it will allow. We do X, then we say X dot status. I only want those files with the status approved status. So this should be equals to, then I can say here ID. Then here I should do here to list async. So this should give us all. So here I can also do await list async. Then I can also do here await. Then here I can say to list async. So this should give us only the documents that we have. Let me just copy this here. So I need to have this also on, I need to have it here. Then here I should also do the same thing. So I should copy this, then have it here. Then I'll do this to list async, but now we should do here await. Then here I'll also do await. This should be list async. Then we can do here await. This is also to list async. So that's fine. So here we need to ensure that we have only the documents that are approved. So let's go and do a file request. So when you are doing now a file request, you should be requesting a file that has been approved and it's ready for use. So if you're new to MacroCode and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So we'll really appreciate. Okay, so let me just go here and I'll do file request. And if I do here new, you realize that we should be having only limited number of documents here. You can see we have only limited number of documents. That is MacroCode updated Let's also approve the ones that we created today. Which one is that? I think it was something like this one, Electronic Document Management Guide. So let's approve this. I'll say here approve, and I can say this is approved document. If we say approve, then our document is approved, and we should now see it on our new request. So here I'll do document. So we'll be filtering this as well. So just stay tuned as we go along. We'll be doing a filter. So I'll do that, and then you can do here. I can say here, this is fine. Now, if you do a file request, there is one thing that I want us to do. We should not be able to have a document. I want us to have a history. So you can see here we are doing a file request, but now we don't know who we can do another file request, and you can see we can still pick the same document. So I want us to change that. I want us to now begin something very interesting. We need to have a version history. I mean, we need to have a file request history so that we are able to track. You see, this is a file request. So, but here on this file request, these are some of the properties that we have. But I want us to ensure that we are able to track documents that has been requested, and also we can limit the number of documents being requested by 2 individuals. So that the document cannot be requested while someone had already been requested. So what I want us to do is we need to create a model. I want us to create another model. So on this, so let me just check something here. Sorry. So let's create here a model. So I'll come here and do one model here. I'll just create a model here, say class. So on our model, I want us to create another very simple model that will help us to track the requested document. So I'll say here request history. So I'll say here file request history. I'll say file request history. So this is now a history of the files that are being requested. So you should be able to know a particular file was requested by someone how many times. So here you can say this ID. We do file request ID. Then also you can say here you can do string, say action, say here action by ID. So I want to have here a user so that we are able to return a document. Say this is application user, and this is action by. Then you can have a timestamp. Then we can have a status. So here we'll have a status ID. I'll have here status ID. So that status ID, we can call it action type ID. Action type ID, and this will be from the system code. You can have this as an action type. So this action type can be, this will be, of course, can see here, you can say requested. This will be requested. We'll be having approved. We'll be having here rejected, returned. So here we'll be getting a document. So you can't have the same document twice. Yeah. So we will only be accessing that document. So here you say user ID, and you have the user. Then you can say timestamp. Now, every time a document is created, we do a history. Every time a document is approved, we also do a history. Every time a document is rejected, we also do a history. So we are going to track this. Now, this is file request history. I'll go to application DB context, and here I'll be having my file request here, and these will be file request histories. So we'll be tracking our file request histories. Now, these will be entries. Okay, let's go to tools, NuGet Package Manager Console, and here I want us to do something. So here I'll just do add migration. Then you can say we need to add this. So this should be file request, file request histories. So this will be our migration name. So if you're watching our video for this particular point and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So you notice 90% of you guys have not subscribed. So if you're one of them, please consider subscribing. So here we have our file request histories, and this is the table that is being created. Now I want us to update the database. So I'll say update database. So I'll just update database, and that is okay. So I'll just proceed. So our database will be updated. Okay, so that's fine. So this is our table. You can see it has created our file request histories. You have the requested ID, action by, action type, timestamp, all these details. Now we should be having a new table on our tables. We have the file request histories. You can see this is the file request history. So we'll be tracking all the history of our request on this particular table and ensure that everything is running as expected. Now let's do something. I want us to go to our file request. Every time a file request is created here, assuming, where is it? Yeah. So we need to do a file. So you can say here variable request. We can call it request log. Request, you can say it file request history. One thing is file request, the file request ID, we are taking this ID. Action type, we are taking the status. Status is this status. Then user ID, we are taking that. Timestamp, we're also taking that particular timestamp. So what other things? So we have the ID, action by. So this action by actually should be, I think we can have the, can it be, let's still have it as the same person, but it can be null. It's okay. Let's have it as the same person. Then we have the user, timestamp, action type, action by, and file request. So that's fine. So if we come here, you see this. Now we can do here underscore context, file request history, and then we save our changes and we supply the user. So this every time we are doing anything, but now there is so the action type, we've said no, this is wrong. So we have the action type. So action type should be various things here. So let's create some of the file request action types that we want to see. So it could be file request, it could be approval. No, it could be let's create here system code so that we are clear. So we can create here, you can say file request, you can call it file request cycle. I'll call it file request cycle. Then I can say this is file request cycle. So this is file request cycle. File request cycle. So if I add this, then I go to system code options. Then I can add and select my drop down file request cycle. Then I can say here file. So this should be caps. File request. So then this I'll say the first thing is you do a file request. Then I add. Then the next thing is can say file approval. So I can say this is file approval. Then I can add. Then I can say here file request. You can say file returned. No, you can say file file in use. File in use. Then you can say your file in use. So I'm able to know which file is in use. Then I can also say your file returned. File returned. Can do your file returned. So then I say add. Now I'll be having my statuses based on that particular status. So if I go to file request, I'll also do another one here. I'll do something here. Then I can say this is a file history. File history status. File history status. Then this will be, if we go to our system codes, from here you can see I have my file request cycle. So I'll say this is my parent. Then here, this is ID 106. So if I come here and say select 100, and I say here select star, then you can say this is system codes, then where system code ID equals to 1006. So I'm able to see, so as you can see here, we have our statuses. So for our case, our document, you do a file request, it goes through approval, you get the file, or you return it. And that is how the cycle now goes along. So here, the first thing is we'll be having, once a request is done, we'll do a file request. So our file history status, then I'll say action type will be, you can call this action file action type. Then I'll copy this and say the action type will be this, then dot ID. Now that's fine. The next thing that we need to do is we'll go also to our, for the edit, we don't need to change anything here. Do you need to change anything? Here, not really. Let's go to approved file request. So if a file request is approved, we need to also do something. Yeah. So when a file request is approved, we need to grant it. So we say here we need to say file in use. So here we'll say file in use, and we save that change. Another thing is when a file is rejected, we also need to have our status here. File approval. We can say here file approval. Okay, now then you save the changes. We should be able to, I think we can separate these status, file approval and deletion. So let's just go to our app here and file approval. You see this one. You can edit this and we say here file approved. Sorry, it does file, this one. You say file approved. File approved, and you say this is file approved. Then we say update. Then we also add another one. We say here file request. We say file rejected. Sorry. File rejected. We say here file rejected. So we add that, then you are okay. So here we'll say file. So if I do here file request cycle, I'll be having my statuses. So these are some of the statuses that I have. So we have a file can be approved, your file is in use, it's rejected, a request has been done, and it can be returned. So let's go back. So file rejected, then we'll be having it here. Then if you go to approval, so this is file in use. Once it's approved, then file is in use. But once it's rejected, we just say file rejected. Now, that's one thing. So let's try to request a file and see. So I'll just go there. Then we should be able now to track a file cycle. So let's go. Then here, I'll do request. Then let me do a new request. So I'm requesting a file now. I'll say here file, the document extension. Then I choose the document. I say I want from this date to this date. This is okay. Then I say here request. So you can see our file has been requested. So if we go to the table that we created, file histories, we should see an entry. There we go. So you can see here, we now have a file request ID. We have the action, we have the status, the timestamp, and the user ID. So you're able to know a request has been done. So if we go to our app and say view, you can see here we have the approval details, but also I want us to add here a file movement cycle. So let's go to documents, and we go to documents. Where is it? Documents, then details. So there is somewhere we were doing file history. So you see here, I want this card here. I can copy this, then go to file request details. Then where we have comments here, this one, it's part of this card. So I'll just paste that there. But here I'll be saying file. I'll say file history, file request history. Then I'll go to file request, and here the same way we were having, if we go to our documents, we are having a collection of you see, we were having a collection of versions. So the same case, we'll be having a collection of file history. So I'll come here, and I'll add that, and I'll say here file history. Just a minute. So we should be having our file history there. File history, file request history. Then here we should be doing file request histories. Then if we go to details on the file request, where is it? File request here. Then go to details. So I should do here dot file file request. Is this correct? I should be doing file request history. File histories. I'll just do, let me just do file requests, file request histories. Then if I go to file request, I can do here include. Then I say here it's let me do f dot file request histories. Now this file request history, if we go to our details, I'll do here. So one thing I'll need to do here, then include, can do here. So on this table of ours, we have the action type f. I'll do here f dot action type. You see, you have the action type and the timestamp. So here I'll just do, I'll do here action type. Then I'll say here action on. So I'll be having these two. Then here let me remove this, and I say file. Then here I'll be having my, let me just remove this as well. I'll say at file, then dot action type, then dot description. Then here I'll also say action dot action timestamp. I'll just have your timestamp. So that is it. Then here I'll do file.id. Then I can remove this. So I'll be having only the action type and timestamp. Then this will be file request history. So let's try to see how that looks like. So if you're watching our video until this particular point and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So you notice 90% of you guys are watching our videos and you haven't subscribed. So if you're one of them, consider subscribing and also like the video. So I'll just go to file request and I'll go to view. So there's one thing that I want you to see now. So you can see on our file request history, we now have action type. We have done a file request. Action on, we have this, and we have your action you can download. So here, let's do one thing. So here You can see here we have approve and reject. So there's something I think we copied that we don't need here. Let's go to file request, view. Yes, we don't need this here. So I'll just go to this one and I can remove this. So then I'll format that. If we update our app, then here we have the file request action on, and we have that action. So if I come here and say approve, so I can say this is approved. Then I click here approved. Then if we try to look for that document, you can see here we have our status now. It is saying file request and we have file in use. Let's try to make this a bit more user friendly. So I'll change the status. Let's just check here. Class. Sorry. I'll do bolder. Giveaway updates. So that's okay. You see a file request, and I can also have here, I can say text. And do here light. Let's update and see. We have these other text. That's it. Emphasis. I think that's fine. So let's retain it as a bit bolder. So we're now able to have our actions. So now we'll be able to see how now you return a file, whether a file you're able to track this. And you should now be able to see a document, whether the document is in use or it has been returned. So I think we've been able to cover a lot of updates today based on what we've done. So if you're new to this channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and in case you have any comments that you want us to include in what we are building, so we'll really appreciate if you can share with us the feedback so that we incorporate in this application as we go along, just to ensure that we're able to build a robust documents or electronic documents management system in ASP.NET Core. So that is it, and stay